Hello, YouTube. I haven't done a live hot takes on stream in a long time. So here, your takes that I've been reading over the past couple months are gonna get made fun of by a couple thousand people. So beware, either ignore or take what these guys say at face value. Thank you very much. First hot take of the week comes from QMC Advance. They said, hot take, Winston is no longer countered by D.Va, especially since his primary ignores armor and the armor changes affecting her primary fire. Is that even a hot take? We're starting off with not a hot one because this is true. I guess traditionally, if you really want to go with the counter watch idea, where this tank counters that tank, pre-season 9 or 8, sure, you can say D.Va has like a 55-45 advantage against Winston. It's never really a true hard counter by any means. But yeah, you're not wrong. I think Winston is no longer really countered by D.Va at all. Again, for those who don't know, Winston does do true damage against armor. Completely ignores it. And Winston does have a little bit of armor as well and can like mitigate some of D.Va's damage as well. It's very obvious. Like, I'm reading what you said here. It's not a hot take, but it's a weak take. Hot take, everyone sucks at Overwatch because everyone does not play every hero. Get good, dude, and buff Kiriko. Everyone sucks because you don't play every hero. Okay, well, Overwatch is 40 heroes. What about Dota players or League players? Do League players suck because they don't play 130 characters? All right, interesting take. Okay, and buff Kiriko. Okay, very interesting hot take. No comment. I'm just gonna ignore what you had to say there. That means I don't know what kind of takes are these. Okay, next hot take. Mercy is just the worst design in the game and makes Smurfs 1,000 times worse, especially on console where shots are hit less. I actually wish she was just scrapped or revisited. What aspect? Healing buff? The healing beam, which is kind of weak on Mercy. Getting pocketed by like an Alari beam up your ass is way stronger than a Mercy beam, number one. Number two, just damage boost 30% right now on this season still kind of puts Mercy at mediocre tier. Everyone got big HP buffs in season 9, right? 250 HP. So the damage boost is not as like noticeable. Nobody's really complaining about Mercy damage boost anymore or the Zenyatta Discord orb for a long time because their biggest complaint was just getting blown up instantly, but they removed like a big part of the burst damage with the HP buffs in season 9. Right now, where are we at? Is she really the worst design in the game? I don't know, evidently not. It's certainly a hot take. It's not the worst design because she's still one of the most popular heroes in the game. I think she's actually all right now. Battle Pass, season exclusive stuff, or other FOMO elements are and always will be bad for the health of gaming. Live service games get worse every month. I would say one aspect, it would be maybe annoying, but like as long it doesn't affect gameplay, like you can't buy like, you know, like extra damage per Baptiste bullet with your wallet. Cosmetics are a part of their business, but I agree FOMO tactics are a little scummy. Not even just in gaming, but in like a lot of aspects of life. Like, unfortunately, that's just what works. So like games do it, like, you know, they do it in, you know, your regular retail stores. You buy one, get one now, deal ends today. Like, just always FOMO. FOMO is just the big marketing tactic. Our drops, our big retail drops, yeah, it's just happen now. It sucks. Not really like a hot take by any means. FOMO elements are just, it's annoying, but like I try not to give it any more weight than I need to. And I try to like do my best to disconnect from it. So I'm pretty like, I'm not a collector by nature. So it's never really gotten me. I'm not that kind of like a buyer on Amazon. Like Prime Day is another good example of stuff like FOMO. I'm usually pretty good at like not getting into sales. I didn't look at the Steam sales stuff for FOMO stuff. I didn't look at Amazon Prime stuff. I'm hyper aware of it and I disconnect from it. But I agree, if it's part of gaming, it gets annoying because that becomes the priority for a lot of resources over like the quality of your game. Hot take, Blizzard is not that greedy. $10 every 2 months for a battle pass that gives you heroes, legend skins, and a mythic and various items versus other games that are $10 per month. They are 50% cheaper and shop skins are not that necessary. You can get some at events or Twitch drops. It's not that hard to have a good experience. Well, giving heroes is a little outdated, but the first part, saying Blizzard's not greedy, is an interesting take. But I will say, it's a free-to-play game. It's okay for Blizzard to make some money, right? Like if you're running a game and you have to like put in money, right, to pay your devs, your team and stuff to develop it, it's okay to make money. And I agree. I actually do think the Battle Pass is good value, relatively speaking. Much better than a single skin that costs 2,300 coins, $23 for a single skin. For what you get, I think that's fine, but everything else is probably priced too high individually. $19, excuse me, not $23. Maybe I'm confusing it for those collab skins. I mean, in sales, don't they use this tactic where you kind of like have like a low hanging, like good value stuff to hopefully like bring you in to buy the more expensive stuff, right? I'm not in that, but I remember reading something about that in economics. Maybe somebody here in the chat knows what term I'm talking about, where you anchor a price that seems good value to kind of like get you in the door, get your feet wet. So even if the battle pass is priced pretty fairly for what you get, they're hoping it'll like, yeah, open the door, be like, oh, it wasn't too bad to open my wallet and connect my wallet or credit card in this game. Now, like if something does come out and it's $19, $20 for a single skin, it doesn't, you remove one of the stopping cues, which is like actually entering your credit card information the first time. It's all strategic. Map voting would be the single biggest simple change that would immediately improve the player's experience. I'm okay with map voting. It depends how you implement map voting. Are you presented three maps and you pick one? Are you vetoing it like Halo? I don't know if it would improve players' experience, but I will say as a personal take, I liked Halo 3's map veto system. If one map was just absolutely ass, at least I re-rolled the dice and at least get something else. If it happened to be ass a second time, I live with that because I was gonna have an ass experience if I got snowbound the first time. I think a single veto system could be good. Next hot take, after the Juno playtest, it feels like every Overwatch hero just recycles other abilities in the game in a slightly new way. This is really hard to avoid, but I think if the Overwatch team got a little bold and creative, we could see exciting and new playstyles. Some examples would be a tiny support that attaches themselves to a hero to heal, a giant tank that's piloted by 2 players, or a DPS with a lower impact but faster charging ultimate. Is this really a hot take? If you say it feels like Overwatch recycles other abilities, but every game recycles or it gets inspiration from others. Everybody's a small thief, a little yoink and twist. Okay, you say attach yourself, we got Yumi. We come 2 pilots, Cho'Gall and Hots. You know, it's really hard to come up with a completely original idea that doesn't have a blend of other things. It's okay to have overlap. That's bound to happen. It's how they blend together that kind of makes the hero. I don't know. If you think League of Legends, 160 legends, Brand. If you guys know Brand, he shoots a single line fireball. If it hits somebody, it stuns. If you play Xerath, you shoot a single line. If it hits somebody, it stuns. Like they're kind of functionally the same, but like Brand has like a element where if you combo it, then something else happens. So it's just like, as long as Overwatch does something unique to blend them, combo them on the kit, I think it's fine to overlap other abilities. Another example is Venture. I think Venture's blend of abilities works out really well, but the idea of burrowing's kind of unique in this game, but like going invulnerable isn't at its core of like a piece of line of code. Reaper can go invulnerable, things like that. An idea I had for a while was the idea of iterating off the elemental stuff. For example, Malga's, you know how like he crits if they're lit on fire, but then, you know, Ashe's dynamite could light somebody on fire as well. Torbjorn's ultimate, if they step on molten core, they're on fire, and then Malga can already pre-crit. So if we have a fire element, we just start slowly adding small elemental things, nothing too crazy, but in theory, kind of work pretty well. You know, we already have Mei with ice or like water, or, you know, go with something like that as an idea or an experiment and see where that goes. We already existing in the game. Oh, we have freeze in Mei. We have poison. Ana's is a poison. Widow's Venom Mine is a poison. If you shoot a poison target, a certain hero gets a small amplified thing. I don't know. Next take is that D.Va's burst damage combo, booster plus missiles plus cannons, is 10 times worse than Hanzo's one-shot. It instantly deletes squishies and can happen more frequently in a game, along with her buff DM that's an easy get out of jail free card. Hog is similar with his hook on squishies, yet Hanzo gets the huge nerf because of a random lucky shots that rarely happen. I think this is a pretty hot take. I do agree that D.Va's burst damage is pretty good, but I've always been annoyed by random like logs by Hanzo. It's the frustrating portion, like getting deleted by a D.Va coming up to you in a lot of cases, not always, could mean like you were out of position and she gets to go into you for free. But then because she flies into you, there should be some inherent risk. Maybe she does lose half her mech HP in some ways, but that's why they did nerf Matrix a little bit, because she was getting away with it too much. So they have nerfed it. It all comes down to positioning here, but like Hanzo's is sometimes like you're not even like in LOS and he just kind of just leap peeks and just shoots a random arrow and you get doinked in the head, which was frustrating and really bad. Like, I think the burst damage D.Va can do a little too much, but saying it's 10 times worse than Hanzo's is certainly a hot take. Although I will argue that I don't think they needed to nerf Hanzo's HP from 250 to 225. I think they could have just kept him the way it is. Other heroes going down to 225. So in some matchups, he has a chance to one-shot. Okay, but as long as it's not the entire roster. Also, D.Va's burst combo has a little bit of time for it to like work. You have to fly in. You see the D.Va fly in. The missiles have to come out and your primary has to come out. If you get a little bit of peel, there's a higher chance to live that versus and then punish the D.Va versus just a random shot across the map. If you're dead, you're dead. Next hot take, support is the easiest role to rank up, filled with heroes that require no mechanical skill nor brain cells to play. This guy just seems angry. I will say support is one of the easier roles to rank up. That's actually not even that hot of a take. But then the second part is kind of like diminishes the entire argument because you're kind of just like, okay, support's easiest role to rank up, but it's less about the heroes that require no mechanical skills or brain cells, you know? Like, you do have to think a little bit, and there are some supports that do require quite a bit of mechanical prowess to find value on. Never played Ana in your life, or like I've never seen you do like Lucio parkour. I think some crazy good Lucios are like very, very cool to see. At the same time, support is hard to rank up since you rely a lot. I think supports, depending on the support you play, there's less of the proactive plays you can make. I think Mercy and Lifeweaver fall under that, where they take a long time to climb. They can be pretty stable, but I've mentioned this before, since they don't have like a big proactive ability, it's very hard to like swing the tides in your favor in a lot of cases, which is why it's much easier to climb. If you have mechanical skill, you do need mechanical skill to play Baptiste, Ana, Kiriko, and right now Juno. These four are great examples of how being proactive can actually net you wins more often because they have very playmaky ultimate abilities. Nano Boost, Zen, Bap Window, Kitsune Rush, Orbital Ray, or whatever. They're all like, go now and let's like work on this, versus Lifeweaver is a reactionary support. You kind of have to wait for something to happen. Mercy, you have to wait for somebody to die before you res them. It's a very like wait and see versus go now. But yeah. Next hot take is one-tricking makes the game 10x more fun. Let go of your rank and just have fun playing the hero you love. It can be more fun for you if you really love that hero, but it can be equally frustrating if you're playing into things that are really good against you. Like you're playing, I don't know, Rhine, and they're playing double flyers and a fucking like wrecking ball just booping you, and they're just killing your backline. You're sitting there like, what do I do? Do you really love one-tricking this hero in this specific moment? How much pain can you really take? Do you really want to let go of your rank? I mean, I've seen some one-tricks in our chat here who are losing their minds playing the hero that they one-trick. It's certainly a decision. Next hot take. Overwatch doesn't actually have that much CC. I mostly play ESO. The fuck is ESO? Where every player in a given PvP scenario is likely to have a stun, immobilization, or slow effect built into their characters for me, so I don't find it all that bad when I play Overwatch, as I'm used to it. I mean, you're comparing Elder Scrolls, this is an MMO, right? You can't really compare an MMO to a live service or live action shooter or whatever, live service shooter, excuse me, right? Your TTK, I'm sure, in Overwatch is way faster than I can assume in your MMO. This is comparing apples to oranges. They're so different. You're probably used to getting stunned and stuff, but like, you know, yeah, it's just not even the same at all. I mean, a lot of the tanks do have CC. You do need a bit of CC in the game, or else it just becomes a deathmatchy kind of game, right? And I think that's what makes Overwatch unique. Each character has like such a different set of abilities and skills, and a little CC to help like hold them down and keep some heroes in check. I think it's less about the CC in this game and more about the invulnerabilities, which is what people were complaining about in the last couple of seasons. Agreed or disagreed? Maybe Hinder Nade was like super annoying getting CC'd by Hinder across the map, but at least it's a shorter range now, so it's okay. All the best or favorite tanks have selfish, survival, or CC abilities that can help their team, whether directly like Rhine Shield and Junker Queen Shout, or indirectly like Doom's Displacements. That is why heroes like Orisa and Roadhog are hated, as they only benefit themselves. So until a rework is done for those tanks, like how they did with Ball, they should never be strong heroes. All the best or enjoyable tanks have things that can help their team. I mean, yeah, Orisa just has to stand there, soak, but you can also spin your thing for them, and you can kind of peel with your spin and like push some people away. Hog, you can hook some people back to kind of like bring some people and peel for your team with the hog hook. And selfish survival, I mean, Roadhog has a freaking like vape button. I'm kind of confused where we're trying to go from here. Do you mean play against these heroes? I don't mind having an Orisa on my team. Roadhog is, depends on the player. I don't like playing against a Roadhog. And genuinely, I actually don't mind playing against an Orisa. Roadhog, I don't mind either. I just dislike playing against Mauga. That's it. But like, not really, because I just play Ana and Antium. There's nothing, I don't know where to go from this. I'm a little confused. Doomfist Slam stopping Wrecking Ball's momentum has to be one of the worst interactions in any tank matchup. He already has a punch to bully the ball, but at least landing it takes some skill. Slam being massive AoE means there's basically zero counterplay while also requiring the brain power of a walnut. Doom Slam hitting ball? I feel like that's pretty like rare. Aren't you like zooming around really far away as ball? What kind of pathing are you taking that you're getting hit by a Doom Slam? I mean, I don't play either of these tanks, but like, doesn't ball don't they just like ignore each other? It can be I can feel like Rocket Punch it makes more sense because you can actually aim it and stop the fireball, but like the Seismic Slam? Hot take. Writing a hot take without the phrase brain cell or brain power takes absolutely zero brain cells or brain power. There's a lot of people that write the word. Yeah, you're right. There's a disturbing amount of takes that have the word brain cell or brain power. My goodness. Oh my God, I just looked at the fucking take in front of me. Cassidy is simple, not easy. Moira is brain numbingly easy. Oh my fucking God. Can we remove the word brain in people's like complaint vernacular? Thank you very much. Cassidy is a pretty simple hero kit. Not easy because you have to aim everything. Moira is brain numbingly easy. Sir, I wouldn't say brain numbingly easy, but she's certainly easier, I would say. I can agree with that. But like the fact that you put the word brain in this is annoying my brain. Although the internet is out for blood anytime the Overwatch team makes a slight mistake, they can't keep using the excuse that resources are limited every time we ask why a feature isn't added or looked into. For example, find a group, adding features to custom, eliminating game modes that aren't played. The game is in dire straits and the goodwill well is getting empty. Going the extra mile would do wonders for the team instead of giving Kiri another new premium skin. Unfortunately, I agree, but I defend the devs here because it's not on them. It's like higher up corporate. They make the decision. Kiriko skin sells. You must send resources to make skin. Why waste money to make, you know, features or systems that aren't being used? Now that being said, doing those would probably improve the goodwill for a moment, but like higher up Activision Blizzard has to weigh like how much goodwill are we getting in return for instead of making one Kiriko skin. One makes money, one costs money is the way to put it. That's right. And is it really goodwill for the broader gaming community? Like how much? It's probably just for some of the active ones. It'd be like, wow, that's really nice. They added it and then they forget about it anyways, versus they could have made their $5 million for one Kiriko skin. Right? Your beef is with commercialism, not so much the devs. Unfortunately, I don't think the poor QA analyst that got hired has any say in this. Like, I see where you're coming from, but this is like an uphill battle. Yeah, I don't think people should... I like what you said there. I'll never blame devs. It's the company heads, but we only ever flame devs. They've been super open on how hard and long some of these takes. A lot of them are pretty candid. A lot of them hang out here because they're all, at the end of the day, they're also like passionate gamers who like, you know, probably played the game before they got hired too. I think a lot of people just use the term dev as like a very broad term. So maybe they're not attacking anybody personally, but it gets pretty bad when they like, you know, go direct like name calling and saying, you know, you specifically are the reason this is bad or XYZ, when it really was probably like an entire, not just the person getting like taking, like being the tank on the team and taking all the public scrutiny, but it's like an entire team that like worked on XYZ or didn't work on XYZ. But like, I see where you're coming from, but yeah. Hot take, Venture is way too much of a crutch character delivering high value for little effort. You have 2 escape buttons, 250 HP killing combo using a few taps, and free shields. just by using, not landing skills. They say cast is unkillable with him, but at least you think about roll top, big positioning, and natural cover, and being mechanically good on top of that. I think there's inherent risk because you have to be pretty deep in the backlines. I played a bunch of games earlier today with Venture, and like they would trade a lot of times 1-for-1, which is good value in some cases, but a lot of times they just end up dying. If you guys were just watching that last game, the moment Venture went for that thing, we just sat there and waited for them. It does require a bit of finesse in your timing, but it's very easy to feed, and you have to get close because your range is very limited to being up close. So there is like ways to play around it. I wouldn't say it's that much of a crutch character. If they're like an extreme crutch like outlier where they're really dominating the meta, then we have a problem. But like I feel like most people here who try to play a game of Venture would probably feed their absolute brains out. Is it really that easy? High value for little effort? Maybe you can get a 1-for-1, but I feel like you're gonna, if you guys don't play Venture, you think it's that easy, you're gonna go like 10 and 10. Hot take, they should not allow you to change heroes during a match in competitive. Maybe let people change heroes when the round is finished. And if it's a push map, maybe let people change when they hit the midpoint or something like that. It will make a pretty interesting way to play where is going to be even more mind games involved. For example, you pick Diva and you were against Zarya. Do you change next round to counter? Maybe the other tank changes to counter your counter, and so on. This is certainly a hot take. Oh, let's just let the team conveniently wait in that one small moment for you to conveniently change your team, and then they change a team. It's just, no. One thing I will say is I feel like a lot of gamers are just tired of Overwatch and you need to move on. I think what makes Overwatch unique is the fact that there's so many interesting random abilities that can be a little frustrating at times, but like, you know, they're cool. They have lore, and then you can swap heroes at any time. It's a very dynamic hero shooter. But my thing is, I feel like gamers are just trying to homogenize the game, and they just really want a very bare bones, simple, lock a hero in, no CC, no stuns, deathmatch gun, no random flying. Why is this hero able to like jump across the map? They should not have that kind of mobility. They should just all be static. Like they're trying to like homogenize it into like basic pure form shooter CSGO. At the end, I feel like we're at a point where you're probably better off not playing Overwatch anymore because you're not into this kind of a shooter anymore. There's a fucking shield hammer swinging hero. There's a fucking staff. They can fly. Like that's, they won't be happy until everybody is just shooting, yeah, like a Soldier 76 gun. I think swapping is fine in this game, and I think a lot of these abilities that people complain about are actually fine as well. That's what makes the game unique and arguably pretty sticky. I think Aaron said it. He's like, we've noticed that like this game is actually kind of sticky, and he said that word. The reason why I echo the word sticky because I'm like, that's an interesting way to put it, but I get what he's saying. Because like we look at the Steam numbers, they're going up. We don't see Battle.net, we don't see console like player base, but like every Overwatch killer that has come out hasn't really put a dent in the existing player base. And the people complaining are just the ones who have quit and are the ones who are like looking for that pure form shooter, but they're just sitting here trying to shit on the game because maybe they did like it at one day when it was novel and new, but then they realized they probably do like the more generic, boring shooter, and now they're just like, yeah, fuck you. You have too much CC, yeah, you too much mobility, game's ass. Like, I think you just need to move on, and that's fine. Like, the fact that you managed to play the game for 6 years is like, hey, like, there's not a lot of games out there that can make somebody play for that many years. So like, I'm glad you had a good time at one point. And I know you wish well for the game, but like, I don't think that's the road they want to go. I think they're doubling down or keeping that, you know, unique hero shooter with these kinds of heroes and being able to swap and adapt on the fly. It's tactical in that way. That's their tactics. Say it's interesting that there's mind games there, but it's already mind gamey and tactical enough to like come up with a comp and work around what you got. But yeah.